Um, I think the planet is very sad. Yes, of course. I definitely think the planet is very sad, and I think a lot of people are also very ungrateful, which is another big problem. Well, that's why I got the crybaby tat on my face. I got a humongous tattoo that says crybaby and shit to keep me grateful and remind me not to be a crybaby. So I see it every time I look in the mirror, to remind me that I'm blessed.
Watched the Lil Peep documentary on Netflix, which is really genius documentary. You should watch it. And I didn't really know too much about him at the time, but now all of a sudden I'm just like deeply invested in the career that he had. But it's just really people don't understand how overwhelming this is for these young kids, man. And I was young. I was young like that too, once upon a time. And some people say they don't. I can never understand how you can't understand till you get here. How insane this shit can be when you're carrying a bunch of people on your back and expected to do so much. And
man, Lil Peep changed the game, bro. He was like, he brought that, the sad thing's always been around, but he brought that like sad rock and he mixed it with like trap, and then he mixed the trap with like rock, but like not too much. It was crazy. Like, he had his own thing. He brought his own wave into the shit, and that shit's fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he never gave a fuck what nobody thinks. You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely like a legend. I guess you could say he's a legend, and like, he definitely influenced music in a way.
So Lil Peep was a SoundCloud rapper who was making noise in the underground scene, but tragically passed away on November 15, 2017 while he was on his tour bus. And once he died, his music took off to another level, making him 10 times way more popular and bigger after he died. And I beg the question, is Lil Peep considered a legend in today's generation? Or is he just an act in music who had an impact in a short amount of time? Cause many people seem to be on both sides about this. Even big media personalities like Diamonds Live consider Lil Peep not a legend, while somebody like Blackie Speaks consider Lil Peep a legend. And I will say this myself, I never seen an artist that's as popular and get debated if he's a legend or not, to a point that naysayers start to make personal attacks on Lil Peep and say he's not hip hop and doesn't even make rap music. Others would be like Lil Peep's only popular because he died, and he didn't even have that much mainstream success, which is true. But are we gonna use that against him? Because after every artist died, their music becomes more popular, their brand becomes more bigger, and everything about them just skyrockets up. And this been happening since the beginning of time. It didn't just start with Lil Peep, so it's unfair to use that against him. Yes, it probably did have more effect on him than it did with other artists, but it just show you how impactful his music was when he was here, and how much of a niche fan base that he had. I feel like the reason why a lot of people in hip hop don't respect Lil Peep because his music is barely hip hop. His sound and his music is more rock and heavy metal inspired, even more so than other artists like Trippie Redd, Juice WRLD, X, where their music is a little bit of rock and heavy metal inspired, but it still heavily has hip hop elements in it. To whereas Lil Peep, his songs are more rock than rap music, and that's really not gonna cater to a lot of people in hip hop. So I feel like that's a big reason why Lil Peep, he was never as big as his peers. And it's also the fact of him being white probably plays a big part in it too, because like I just said, for the most part, hip hop is still an urban sound. Even if you just look at Lil Peep, a lot of people's not gonna give him a chance. So with that being said, a lot of criteria that a lot of people put on Lil Peep is unfair, because they already have this certain bias against him, considering that his sound is a lot different from other rappers. Like even with the SoundCloud Mount Rushmore list, hardly any people were saying that Lil Peep should have been on there, when in reality, Lil Peep, he's like the defining SoundCloud artist, who was one of the rare few people at the time to directly build his fan base off of SoundCloud and capture a unique sound that catered to them. I just feel like we're in a sad place in hip hop, because even if you don't like an artist like that, you should still give him his flowers and show him that respect of at least having a presence in the genre, rather than undermine and demean his success because you're not a fan of him. Even other music artists such as Juice WRLD, Smoke Perp, Lil Pump, X, they all had love for Peep. His music maybe even not been on the radio or been on the billboards a lot, or some of your friends may not even bump his music like that, but you can't deny his talent or success that he had in a short amount of time without really having that backing or mainstream push. Because if he would have lived longer, he would have been somebody big. And I feel like it's an artist like him in that genre that took that step to the next level. So more artists of the future like Juice WRLD and Trippie would be on that mainstream level. Whether you want to admit it or not, Lil Peep, he broke down barriers and paved the way and showed other underground artists that you can make it and not have to cater to a sound because it's mainstream. You can make your own sound and become successful. Now, do I think Lil Peep's a legend? My answer would be yes. Now, if you agree or disagree with anything I said in the video, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe.
Lil Peep?
Yeah.
That was sad, man.
Yeah.
That was fucked up.
I met him in
in London, and he's such a fucking good dude, and he was really like such a good guy, such a talented fucking dude, and he was gonna fucking change music for fucking ever, and it sucks, dude. It sucks.
My message to the youth is stay aware of the shit that's happening around you, and don't get brainwashed by fucking, you know, society today, because that shit is very easy to happen. And don't become a police officer. Hell yeah, this is Lil Peep.